Another Russian ship sunk, and why are the Houthis attacking shipping? Well, before we get into all that, this is Crisis Report. Remember to keep these reports coming, to like and subscribe. Hello, everyone. As reported on Visegrad 24, Ukraine managed the Russian missile corvette Ivanovets of the Russian Black Sea Fleet here. Ukrainians struck it with a naval suicide drone. The ship, worth 60 million USD, rolled over and quickly sank to the bottom of the Black Sea, according to this report. Now, let's take some quick look at some footage here. See the drone operator flying the missile into the ship. Okay, of course, it blanks out. And another observing drone sees it from another angle. And we can see here, the Russians realize it's coming at them. They're shooting at the incoming drone. This one at least. And another hit. All right. Very, very interesting footage there. Also want to point out area of operations. This is off Crimea. This is from H.I. Sutton's. Very good covert shores. Also has a YouTube channel as well. You should follow them both if you're interested in details of the shipping war particularly. But the main point, and well, we can also take a quick look here from another friend of mine, chart that he reposted here of damaged, those are the yellow, sunk are the red ships, including the Moskva of the Black Sea Fleet. All right, you can pause and take a look at that in greater detail if you wish. But here is the reason for this video. Houthis have launched an anti-ship missile and several suicide drones against the USS Carney in the Red Sea. The American ship shot down all of them, but one is reported to have made it close to the ship. Now, if you remember some of the splashes around one of the drone footage that we just saw looked like rounds hitting the ocean near the drone. Were they fired with an assault rifle? Probably not. Were they fired with, a Deshka or some heavy machine gun? Possibly, quite possibly. Or they may have been fired from a CIWS, a close-in weapon system. Here in this, get a nice picture of the Carney here. Which that is an American CIWS right there. You see the gun barrel, the radar dome for it. Supposedly one of the attacks got within like a mile of this ship. Now, this video is partially my quick analysis of the situation, and if anybody who really knows, either knows the naval warfare in a bit more detail, or electronics, love to hear your views below. Why have the Ukrainian attacks against the Russian Navy been so incredibly successful compared to, we'll call it, Houthi attacks? Now, don't blame the Houthis. The Houthis are not doing these attacks in any meaningful way. There is either an Iranian pressing that launch button, and I will get in a little bit more details of my understanding of what's going on, or there's an Iranian standing behind him telling him when to press the launch button, and they're using primarily Iranian-made missiles and drones for the attack. So these are Iranian. And Iran is a relatively sophisticated country and can produce some level of electronics equipment. Now, they might be importing the components. I don't know, exactly all the components, where they're coming from. So is it that discrepancy, or is it the discrepancy between the Russian Navy and the United States Navy in either electronics and or training? I can make some guesses, but that's all they are. And they may be relatively educated guesses. But what my analysis of looking at this is, why did the Houthis start shooting missiles at shipping in the Red Sea? Is it because the Israeli-Gaza war that is currently going on as of making this video? No. That has little or nothing to do with it. Oh, that's being said in the propaganda, but that has little or nothing to do with it, as my understanding of the world situation. What I think is happening is Iran has been watching the Black Sea war, probably watching all of the Ukraine-Russian war, but watching the Black Sea naval war, and seeing the incredible success of the Ukrainians without a proper navy destroy, bit by bit, the Russian Black Sea fleet for very little cost and very little comparative effort to the building and maintaining of that fleet. And I think they wanted their proxies to test out the weapons, and in a deniable, in a manner that can be propagandistically sold to the world as, these Houthis are mad about Israel. Let's draw in Western naval forces and see how effective our missiles could be, which would, of course, affect the Iran's ability to close down the Straits of Hormuz and the Persian Gulf, as well as Iran's ability to protect itself from naval invasions. So we see the Iranians, who had for a while, I think it has left the Red Sea, parked a intelligence ship sitting in the south end of the Red Sea that was obviously feeding information to various command sources, details of shipping going on. And the Americans, initially Jewish-owned ships being attacked, and then more and more expansion until the U.S. and Britain did retaliatory airstrikes against the Houthi in Yemen. Their attacks have had limited success, the Houthis, in striking civilian ships, particularly ones that were entirely unprotected. Have had limited success in capturing. Only one ship actually captured and brought into port, as far as I remember. Several others briefly taken but abandoned or recaptured by various navies, including the Indian Navy. So this is very telling, in that these billion-dollar American vessels are not succumbing to asymmetric naval warfare to any degree comparatively to the Russians. Now, again, I don't know whether it's the Americans' electronic warfare is just generations better than the Russians. I don't know if it's American training is better than the Russians, crewing, or whether there's some sort of magic going on, better tech going on with Ukraine than Iran. I don't think, I don't think, again, I don't know, that the Iranian technology is so dramatically less than what Ukraine is using. I believe they're both importing significant elements of their electronics. They very well may be manufacturing the weapons in their, in their own nation, but they're bringing in, cameras, radio communication links. If there's some sort of guided weapon, some sort of computer modules to put on them that will fly the missile into the target, that type of thing. I believe they're probably in both cases importing the components to manufacture these. And so this has a massive impact on future global events, I do believe, because China is watching. China has a base at the south end of the Red Sea in Djibouti, literally right next to the American base in Djibouti there. They're watching the situation. They're gathering what intelligence they can. They're seeing that any Navy or other using American/Western electronics will have likely much greater effectiveness than Russian level electronics. And so I am thinking about this of an island off of the Asian mainland. I don't want to get dinged by YouTube for mentioning certain names of countries, that a possible invasion is now, I do believe, a lot less likely. It depends on the electronics level of the Navy of that mainland nation, not of the nation itself, but of what the Navy currently has to counter similar tactics that would be in the island nation used against any invasion force, and the attrition rate that would likely bring, and how effective that mainland's missiles and drones would be in taking out a supporting American naval force in the area to thwart the invasion. So it seems to be, we need to understand the calculus has changed in naval warfare. It has become very asymmetric. And that is important, but we can also see that, and it is important that, this map is important, because although these people are somewhat hugging the coastline here, I don't know that the coastline is in any ways, or their proximity to it is any way affecting the attacks here. I believe, again, I don't know the exact path of these missiles or drones coming in, but they don't seem to be dependent upon proximity to a friendly shore, meaning these are not just off, these are down in Crimea, not off the Ukrainian-controlled coast. So these are happening out at sea, similar to either the Red Sea or the Arabian Gulf, that they can hit shipping out there of the civilian variety, but not of, apparently, British, French, and American that are known to be operating in there. whether they've targeted them directly or not. Do believe that they have targeted the U.S. vessels directly. They will likely to try to target the French or the British next, if they can, to see if their defenses are as effective as the Americans for the calculus of this. So I want to thank you for watching. Again, if you have, not asking for any classified information, but any real world practical knowledge on the differences of the conditions here. It could be even regional, Red Sea versus Black Sea conditions or some such. I would love to hear from anybody, and love to set up an interview with somebody if you'd like, on the differences that are going on here. Sorry for the lack of videos. Things in my life have gotten rather busy. Hope to do more on this channel. So watching the world's crises, they're getting many around the world. I hope everyone stays safe.